of other experiential places that could inspire and inform the future of this site. So I am happy to answer questions now, but I also wanted to go through, I thought it would be helpful to go through the strategies and recommendations if you are willing to bear with me for a couple more minutes, if that's okay. Okay. So let me just get down here really quickly. And this is really to kind of tell how you move forward. There's a lot of, there's vision, there's different aspects of inspiration, but these are kind of where the rubber meets the road. Okay, we're so close. Okay. So we have an implementation strategy section, and we've tied them back to each of the goals that we stated at the beginning of the document. And what I will just run through quickly is the layout of it and a tiny bit of the information. So for each one, we have the policy to move forward, an action that the city can move forward with, the area it's applicable to, what type of phasing it would be, so whether it's short, midterm, long-term, or ongoing, potential partners, and then potential funding tools. So for goal 1, reestablish the city center as a connected, walkable place. And we have a few policies there. Balance Main Street's function as a regional travel route with its role as Kaysville's primary pedestrian-oriented Main Street. And the action, implement targeted pedestrian crossing improvements at locations identified through community input and safety analysis. 1.2, prioritize pedestrian safety, comfort, and accessibility in the city center transportation decisions, particularly for children, seniors, and people with specific mobility needs. And that action is reduce crossing distances and improve visibility through curb extensions, medium refuges, and improve striping where appropriate. And then the third, improve internal connectivity between historic Main Street North, and Mutton Hollow to support walking, biking, and short local trips. And we have 2 options for actions there. To improve sidewalk continuity, lighting, and wayfinding to support safe and intuitive pedestrian movement throughout the city center, and coordinate with UDOT to manage vehicle speeds in ways consistent with a community Main Street context. And then goal 2, reinforce Main Street as the heart of community life. And so goal 1 for that, 2.1, support land uses and building designs that activate the street and contribute to everyday activity along Main Street. And you can do that by encouraging ground floor commercial, civic, and community serving uses along Main Street, with particular opportunity at key crossroads such as 200 North and Main Street, where neighborhood access and city center activity merge. And then second goal, second policy, prioritize public spaces and civic functions that strengthen Main Street's role as a gathering place and shared community asset, and do that by advancing planning and design of a civic plaza that integrates with Main Street and nearby civic buildings. And then lastly, encourage reinvestment that supports Main Street as a place to visit, gather, and spend time. And you can do that by supporting streetscape improvements such as seating, trees, shade, and lighting that are enticing and encourage social interaction. And then for 3, preserve and celebrate Kaysville's historic character. And there's a few here, and this is also where Appendix G can come into play. Evaluate and define the type and level of historic preservation that best reflects Kaysville's values, capacity, and long-term goals, with a focus on reinforcing the city center's identity and character. And a good place to start. Conduct a city-led evaluation of historic preservation approaches in coordination with the Historic Preservation Commission to identify tools and strategies that align with Kaysville's values, administrative capacity, that did come up, and community priorities, using the range of options outlined in this small area plan as a baseline consideration. And we have these tiers of different options, and they're also reflected in Appendix G that kind of show kind of a baseline, kind of keep things status quo, all the way up to design standards and a historic overlay district. So there's some options there to be a guiding light for you guys as you move forward in that process. And then second policy, ensure that new development and redevelopment are compatible with the scale and character of historic areas, and do that by ensuring that new development and redevelopment are compatible with the scale and character of historic areas consistent with the historic preservation approach defined through policy 3.1. And then encourage adaptive reuse of historic structures where feasible to support continued activity and reinvestment. And that is you can do that by encouraging rehabilitation and reuse of historic buildings through incentives, guidance, or technical assistance. And again, Appendix G goes into that a little bit further. Okay, so then, a couple more. Goal 4, maintain Kaysville's hometown scale and identity. Goal 1, or the policy 1, ensure that development reflects a human scale through modest building heights, articulated facades, and pedestrian-oriented design. You can do that by tailoring development guidelines by sub-area rather than applying a one-size-fits-all standard for the entirety of the city center. Require transitions in height, massing, and intensity where new development abuts established residential neighborhoods. And that can be done by guiding future zoning and design standard updates to reflect appropriate scale and form for each city center area. And lastly, for this one, avoid large-scale or auto-oriented development that conflicts with Kaysville hometown character. Use design review to reinforce compatibility rather than maximize development intensity. And that would just be an internal design process for the city. Okay, just a couple more. So goal 5, make the city center a place to spend time, not just travel through. That actually was a theme that came through a lot throughout this process. And so we kind of put these together to reflect that. Design streets, sidewalks, and public spaces to support everyday use, comfort, and social interaction. You can do that by incorporating seating, shade, landscaping, and pedestrian amenities into city center streetscapes. The next, integrate placemaking elements that reflect local identity rather than generic design solutions. Do that by supporting public art, wayfinding, and design details that reflect Kaysville's history and community character. And then ensure public spaces support both informal daily use and periodic community events. So design public spaces with flexibility to accommodate evolving community needs over time. And then goal 6, support local businesses and economic vitality. Prioritize reinvestment strategies that strengthen existing businesses and support locally oriented new uses. Local business was important, and that came up a lot in our public engagement. Improve pedestrian access, visibility, and comfort to support customer activity for existing businesses. That's the action for that one. And then policy 2, encourage incremental development that fills gaps and builds activity over time rather than wholesale redevelopment. Encourage experiential and community-serving commercial uses, particularly in opportunity areas like Mutton Hollow. And then that last policy was align economic development efforts with the city center's scale, market realities, and community priorities. And you can do that by coordinating streetscape and infrastructure improvements to minimize disruption to businesses during implementation. Okay, and we've made it to goal 7. So guide change with clarity and predictability. The first policy for this, use this small area plan as a consistent reference for land use, transportation, and public investment decisions. And then you can do that by using the plan during pre-application meetings to establish clear guidance for scale, form, and public realm integration. Provide early and clear guidance to applicants and property owners to reduce uncertainty and conflict. And do that by review existing development application materials and processes to improve clarity and alignment with the general plan and this small area plan, and prepare simple guidance or checklists to help applicants understand city center priorities early in the process. And then the last policy, ensure that future changes align with adopted general plan policies and demonstrated community priorities. We have 2 actions here. Update zoning and design standards over time to reflect the plan's intent, and reference the plan when prioritizing capital improvements and grant funding. And that's where we have it.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
This has been a long process. We appreciate you and all of your hard work. I think we're in a good place. Any comments, council, or questions for Liz?
Just a comment. Yeah, the last couple pages, so helpful to have the different examples of what we can do, what type of funding, what type of partners. So that's very helpful. Thank you for all the work you've put into this.
You're welcome. Glad it's helpful.
Go ahead, Councilmember Hunt.
I just want to thank you guys for the effort you put into this, and I don't think any or very many of the people who served on the kind of the board that we had that was helping with this, but the residents, I think a lot of times we talk about how we wish we had more volunteers, but that was comprised of residents and property owners who volunteered their time and were willing to provide input. So thank you to them. I had a whole bunch of like line by line comments, but I think I'll forego those because no one wants to hear that. And just thank the Planning Commission for looking over this. When Councilmember Jackson and I ran, 5 years ago, we were both so excited about this downtown area, and it's something that I think a lot of our residents have been excited about too. And just to highlight again what Mayor Tran said, like this is not the city's gonna take these properties and use them. You know, we have, well, when I first got on, we had about 300 acres of developable land left. Now we have less. a lot of our opportunities lie in redevelopment. So, and I appreciate that you have put that together as potential options and again, emphasized and changed some of the language, like you were saying, to let people know, you know, we're not here to take up their property and do whatever with it. This is for if someone wants to do something with their property or whatever, they can look at this and know kind of what the city's priorities are. I think this kind of helps with some of the issues we had earlier. It lets people know what the city's looking for so that hopefully we can be more clear on that. I had one more thing I wanted to say. So many things. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm excited to have like a plan, something we can tell people, something we can work on to try to kind of improve our downtown area. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hunt.
I have one
Councilmember Jackson.
question, actually. In our 600-page briefing material, I did not see the last few pages. Was that included in what was sent to us? Do we know? Because I would love to just kind of look through that and highlight different things that I feel strongly about. I was just curious if that was. I was looking and it's not coming up on my phone, but there's so many pages.
You included the entire plan.
Yes.
As an attachment. So
As an
I do
attachment to
believe it
what was
is there,
sent to
but
us. Okay.
If we need it again, we can definitely get
Okay.
it.
I believe there's also 3 appendix, isn't there?
Yes.
3
Yes.
appendix,
Yes.
full
We
plan,
have
3
appendices. It was
appendix.
a
And the
big
bulk
packet.
of those, we had, there's some appendices that are within the document because they're actually up to G appendices. But there were attachments for public comment because they were rather large. So those are separate attachments.
Yeah.
But we appreciate all of that information and all the data, and it helps us to know that we're on the right track in terms of what our community wants, and so we really appreciate the guiding document that this will become for us. So thank you. Okay, any other questions, councils, or questions, comments for Liz? Okay, thank you so much. All right, council, so this is an action item. Would someone like to make a motion on item C?
I'll make a motion on item C. I'll make a motion that we approve the adoption of the Kaysville City Center Small Area Plan.
Thank you.
And I'll second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Blackham.
Before I vote, I just want to say that thank you for the work. Thank you for everything you've done. I think as I've listened and looked at it all, it re-emphasized what we did in a general plan years ago. I mean, the same comments, lots of the very same comments. I think you've just put it in a more clear document. And thank you very much. And thank you to the Planning Commission, because I know they worked hard on it.
Right.
So aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
you
you
guys.
very
Good
much.
job. You're done. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for sitting through our really amazing meeting tonight. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, thank you both. All right, consideration of funding for the Community Development Director position. Jason.
Thank you, Mayor.
Do
So-
you mind if we did a quick bio break?
Sure, let's
or-
take a 5-minute, 3-minute break.
Yeah, do I have to motion for that, or is everybody okay with that?
I think we're okay with that. We're okay. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, are you good with that?
Oh, yes, for sure.
I don't know why, I just need like a. This is a pretty big deal. Yeah. We're gonna have to most likely send a meeting past 10 anyway.
We sure are.
No way we're not doing that.
Mike's got like a 25-page. I know. I know. I thought it was 25 pages. Oh, that's one? It's just one? Okay.
That's funny, it's, they're Eastern, like friendly squirrels. They're kind of not as friendly as. They're all pretty much probably fried and because they found. I mean, I know that's happening as they're climbing up there. They're getting zapped, and we had one that actually caught on fire. Caught something else on fire. I mean, it's not a pretty sight. So. Not directly, but I've heard on the press or growing an issue out there. Like all things,
There's a ton of them in Farmington too.
migration, yeah.
I mean, you drive down the road, I never used to see squirrels. They're all over the place down there. I'm like, where are they from?
That's a great question. I don't know what's caused them to sort of proliferate. What maybe there must have been showed up. There was a story on DSL or something a couple months ago. Another lady down in South Africa who had some really shots in her yard. Every time she stepped out into the outside, they attacked her. And so she couldn't get rid of them. Those moms seemed like her house. Right. Right. So I do think there are some stories that are already about some of the rock squirrels and those issues.
No, Anne Marie, you cannot go anywhere. Okay, are we back?
We are back.
Let's get back. Where's everybody?
Thank you, Mayor.
Oh, absolutely. So glad that we did that.
And we'll leave with this next subject. Couldn't find having HR here. What's
She's here for this one. She's just wanting to know if we're hiring somebody or not. Okay. Oh.
Oh, your legs are.
Thank you, Officer Flint, for being here. Appreciate you. Yeah.
I have that. No, I have that. Restless leg.
Okay.
Once it gets going, it's so.
Okay, thank you for the break. We are back. We are on agenda item 6C, which is consideration of funding for the Community Development Director position. And Jason is going to present to us, and then we are going to have a robust discussion, I'm certain.
All right, thank you, Mayor. As everyone knows, this item was tabled when the city passed the budget last meeting for further discussion. This is a position that has been funded over the years, and the consideration is should it be continued as a position. And I've provided a staff report. I won't really rehash too much of that other than the main, I think, reason for the recommendation to continue funding this position is that land use is one of the most important things that a city does. It's very complicated and sometimes very nuanced. It's one of those areas where I think can get cities into trouble, maybe more than most areas. And we've seen just even tonight how when you fill a room full of people, it's usually or often about land use issues. And so we feel that this is an important position to fund because it's having that experience of a seasoned leader is important. Sometimes having been through years of different issues, it teaches you things and it helps you avoid stepping into, getting into trouble, I guess. We are encouraged by some of the applicants who've expressed interest in the position. We think we could probably recruit somebody that could really help the city navigate through issues and also be a good leader, provide some strategic leadership, and for council, for staff, for residents, and really that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Thank you so much. Okay, council, so the item before us is discussion of, consideration of funding for the Community Development Director position. I do know that we have some thoughts. Councilmember Blackham?
I just have a paper I have written so
Sure.
that I didn't get lost in my thoughts. Better put my glasses on. First, I would like to note that combining the city engineer and the community development director is not an option that I'm interested in pursuing, and agree with Jason that this model would not work for Kaysville at this time. My recommendation would be to eliminate the community development director and to have a senior planner, a planner, and the business license officer, with the overall department head being the building official, who is currently oversees 2 full-time inspectors and 2 full-time permit techs. He is already in a supervisory position, and as the department lead, it would now also include the senior planner, and the business license officer. I have discussed this with him, and he feels very confident and capable of taking on these additional responsibilities. I have asked Jason to include the job description of a senior planner and the planner. See page 595 of the packet, which is crazy, 600 pages in a packet. To show you that most of the issues with community development and code enforcement fall under the purvey of the senior planner, who would directly oversee a city planner, and combined would both cover 99.9% of all community development and code enforcement issues. This model, using the middle pay scale, would save the city close to $110,000 a year and approximately $550,000 over a 5-year period. I want to clarify my numbers are very conservative, so one of the big issues has been that all of the cities with a population of 12,000 or more all have community development directors. Well, I'm going to use the statement, we are Kaysville, and we do things different here. We shouldn't worry so much about how other cities operate. If we can get the work done in a more fiscally responsible manner, maybe we will become a new model for other cities to use. This is one of those rare opportunities we have to modify one of our high-level, high-cost positions and still get the work done efficiently. I am not naive to believe that there won't be some challenges, but with the people we have, I think it will work. There will definitely be a learning curve and some hiccups, but the bottom line is there will be an ongoing cost saving and not just a one-time budget reduction. This model, I believe, will be more customer service oriented and would allow more staff time for items that come to the community development counter, such as land use rezones, plats, code enforcement, etc. I've talked long enough, but the bottom line is I've shown you a plan that I think could work and get the work done efficiently with the needs that arise from the development community and the citizens of Kaysville, and most important, with an ongoing cost savings.
Thank you, Councilmember Blackham. All right. Any comments? Councilmember Hunt.
Mike, I appreciate that what you said. I just have one question for you, because I was unfamiliar with the number. How did you come to that 110,000 per year number?
What I did is I took the budget that we use in the community development department. I took the mid-range of the cost, and then I added the 30%, and I combined what would have been the community development director and the senior planner, and in a 5-year period, that's about 1.5 million. And if I took a senior planner, which is down here using the mid-range, in a 5-year period, that was 1,013,000. So it was about a $550,000 savings using our pay scale.
Right. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Well, Mike, honestly, I so appreciate you. I appreciate your wisdom, your experience. I do have a different perspective on this specific to this position. I think that Kaysville is at a crossroads. I mean, we've just approved a small area plan, which will require a lot of technical proficiency, not only technical, but also it requires a lot of front-facing leadership skills in order to be able to implement these plans. I really believe that from my experience working in the city, but also in other organizations, including my own company, that if we need a director level position to lead out in the city community development department, mostly because it's a very front-facing, very visible position. This individual, as we know, oversees Planning Commission, but also attends our city council meetings. I would think, aside from Jason and from the council, this person is probably one of the most visible people in the city. And it's really important for the person that we hired to have the managerial skills and the leadership skills, not only the planning skills, to be able to lead this department. The direction that we want to go really is dependent upon the direction that this individual, this position would give to residents as they come in to seek applications to make changes or to take action on properties in terms of development. I don't think that we'll be able to attract the quality and the experience that we need for economic development. So in my mind, we're getting not only someone with some planning experience, but we're also getting someone with managerial experience as well as community development experience from an economic perspective. I know that the type of people that we've had apply have all of these skill sets, not only the planning skill set. And I think that that's what our city needs moving forward. I think it's really important for a city the size and with the complexities and the demographic that Kaysville has to be able to have someone that really truly will shine in this position and represent our city front-facing. So as much as I love to save money as well, I just don't think that this is the right place to cut a director position from. And I also think it also sets a sort of a precedent or a sort of a maybe an expectation to other departments that maybe we would do the same thing to their departments, and I don't think that that's good for morale, in addition to just the fact that I think we need someone with a lot more experience than just a planner would bring. So I've talked to other cities, I've asked them what they do in terms of community development. Bountiful doesn't currently have a community development director, but they are going to hire somebody. And I know, like you said, we can be different. I understand that we are different. Kaysville is very unique. We know this as members of the city council, but our needs here are very complex and very sophisticated. You know, we look at Kaysville and think, oh, we're just a small little hometown, but we're a very sophisticated, very high-maintenance little town. And the things that we do and the way that we move forward is really going to be dependent upon this department being able to manage and carry its own weight. And right now, Jason's doing a lot of the work. Anne is fantastic. She's absolutely exceptional. I just think that the person that we would need in order to get the experience in the different areas, economic development, community development, as well as planning, we need to hire a director. Because I think that unless the person is given that director title, they're not going to be applying for this job, thinking that this is a step up from wherever they are currently working. So I just think it's important for us to be able to do that. I really advocate for a community development director, even though it's costing a little bit more, but we're not increasing our budget. It's already funded. And so we're just saying move forward, and let's find somebody that we really feel will shine in Kaysville. And in order to attract that person, I think that the interview process should include a council interview. I think it would be great for us all to have an opportunity to really, because we're going to interact so much with this person, and we want to make sure that it's the right fit, and we want to make sure that we feel comfortable. So that's my plea, guys. I hope that we can come together to do that. I totally respect you, Mike, and appreciate everything that you've done and all the research
I'm just,
that you've put in.
obviously, I'm always looking for a way to save money.
Yeah.
I mean, as I, and
Which is
that's
why we love you.
Yes, absolutely.
and that's why I made Jason make sure that he included the job description for a senior planner, because every single thing that you've talked about is in the essential functions for a senior planner. That's the expectations in the senior planner that we have hired, that we have all those expectations, exactly what you have just said.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of whether we're going to say, that's the job description, those are our expectations, that's what we expect from you. That's where I'm coming from.
I totally
Mayor?
agree with that. I was just going to say, I think that a director, the title of director elevates the position to somebody who is also has the leadership experience that this role, I think, requires. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I just appreciate the chance that we did have to explore this action. It's given us a lot of time to be able to discuss with staff, but also other cities, and also just commiserate and think about the decision. One of the things that I think is most important that you both have said is that this is a person, whether it's a senior, what would you call it, senior planner? Whether it's a senior planner or community development director, this is the person that faces and deals with not only the public, but deals with developments that come in. And I think Mayor's made such a fantastic point in saying that we should, as a council, be party to the hiring of whichever position this is, because I feel like them knowing more about what we want to see as a city and as a council can guide and direct and you know, paint the picture for a developer of what we want to see. And I think that that can be a really impactful thing. It can protect us a lot and save a lot of time and money. I mean, I know one of the things the state is focusing on right now is they're saying the cities are taking too long to get things processed through, and it's taking too long to go through the process. Well, part of that may be because at the beginning, the expectations aren't quite set of what would fit, what would get approved maybe. And I think that that's an important element. And I think one of the things I've thought most about is just like in everything, you get what you pay for. You're saying that we would save $100,000 a year in salary? Because that would be the only thing we're doing, right? Because we aren't doing less employees. We're just...
Right. We would have to add a planner.
You have to have the planner. So, I mean, to me...
We need to extend the time.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we do need a motion to
I
extend.
make a
Oh, you can do it? Okay.
I can make a motion. Or you could make the motion, and then I could keep talking.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we extend the meeting past 10 o'clock.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. It's just, the ayes win it. But, yeah, so I think that I have a hard time believing that we're going to pay someone $100,000 less a year.
No, it's combined of the two.
Huh?
It's basically combined of the two. I mean, I've used
No,
our figures. I've used our figures. I'm not
Yeah,
giving these.
I see that, but you know, again, when you're advertising positions, you know, I know for a fact when I'm looking for a job, I set the numbers, you know, and I say this is where I need to be, and you're definitely going to get, you know, are you going to get the salesmanship? Are you going to get the charisma? Are you going to get the, and I'm not saying that there wouldn't be people that would still have that quite frankly, I don't even care what we call it. We don't need to call it the director. We could have it be something else, but we'd have to pay them to get the goods, to get somebody who's going to create what we want in Kaysville. And I don't know that you get that with that low of a
Well, and I would hope that
salary.
if we choose to go with the community development director, that in hiring, we would hire at the bottom of the scale.
Yeah,
I would hope that for
absolutely.
sure.
No,
Absolutely.
I think you're right there, and I think that, you know, unfortunately, the state with the sort of, and hopefully our mayor will help us with this. It's a soon to be elected. I'm going to predict that right now that she will be elected. Senator, is that there's a lot of sort of the compromise that's being given between the state and the cities. We push back and we say that to the state, we don't want you to keep telling us what we have to do, and we don't want you to take away our power, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take away our legislative power to zone. And our compromise has always been, we will do this and we'll send you a report, or we'll send you what we've been doing to accommodate. And that's how the bills seem to be shaking out, is that becomes the compromise. And in order to do that, we need somebody that's staying on top of that and doing those things, because if we don't fulfill those reports, then they come back and say, see, you guys aren't doing it, you aren't doing your job, we're going to take this away from you. And I think we need someone in that position that's going to be really doing that. So regardless, I feel like after looking at it, I feel like we do need to have somebody in that higher echelon of pay. And it doesn't make sense to me why we would change the name from a director. And although, quite frankly, if Jim wants to be the director and we want to hire somebody that's a community development person that is at the same scale as a community development director.
No, can I say, I don't think Jim wants to be the community as much as he's capable of taking on the administrative. Because if you look at the senior planner, this job description, they pretty much are the ones that are in charge overseeing the planner. The only difference is Jim would take on the responsibilities of vacations, administrative responsibilities for that department, since they all are basically there, and he's already kind of in a supervisory position. So he's very capable of taking that on.
Well, let me ask then, Jason, do you feel like the majority of people who have applied for the position would care if they had the director position if they were paid the same amount? I mean, I think it's the pay, isn't it?
It's the
not
title.
the
It's-
No, it's
authority.
not, yeah, it's not the verb, it's the pay.
Well, it's the pay, but it's also the title. The title counts in this.
The title does count.
The title counts, because if you have the title of director, you are the leader of that department. If you are a senior person, then you are a senior person, but you are not the leader. That is just, that's the way it is, so.
And it wouldn't make sense for us to pay a senior advisor the same amount as a director and not just call them a director, right?
Right.
So I think that's the biggest thing is, do we want the caliber of person hired that in other places has been a director?
Yes.
I think we do. I think we want somebody who wants to be here in that capacity. And I just appreciate Mike for trying. This has been my biggest thing, is when we have somebody leave that we need to review and see if there's other people that can do those same things. I think this is one of those positions that we found is just tough to like cut down.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Councilmember Jackson.
Yeah, just real quick, everything's pretty much been said, but Councilmember Blackham, thank you so much. I was very intrigued by your idea when you first mentioned it to me, and I always like to save money, but giving it much thought since the last time we spoke about it, and to Councilmember Adams' point, I think it comes down to authority and the confidence in someone that can speak for the city with authority and interpret and maneuver the state laws that are ever increasing and coming down the pipeline. And I want someone who is forward thinking and can lead out on the CRA, the small area plan, and things like that. And so I think our current staff perfectly capable of handling the duties as listed within the job description, and I think our current staff can absolutely handle those duties with precise accuracy and lead out on that. But I agree with the mayor wholeheartedly. We need a director. We need someone that can speak with strong authority and maneuver these things. So, thanks.
Mayor.
Councilmember Hunt.
I'll try to be brief. Just wanted to say, I originally, wanted to vet this position when Mike brought it up, just to see if there were potential savings, like he's saying. And I'm glad we've had time to look at it, and I appreciate Mike being willing to look through all those different things. I mean, I don't love math like that, so I'm glad Mike did it for us. But I think, to me, one of the biggest drivers is, how I've felt over the last few years being on the council, not necessarily feelings towards myself, but over the last few years, there have been very few times when I've left this meeting feeling worse than when I felt like our code did not protect our residents. And I could read sections 15, 17, and 19 of the code 20 times, which is some of the main ones that a community development director would go through, and I would not be able to see all of the pitfalls that we could fall into. And I'm not saying that a community development director is going to be able to see all of them either. But I do feel like if we can put leadership in that position, and that if we're willing to invest in that position, that we do a better job of protecting our residents and the investment that they've put into the city. The people have built their lives here. So some examples of some of the things that really have hit me hard, and obviously our residents, is our sound ordinance. Car washes were an issue. Our light ordinances, accessory buildings, zoning for historic buildings. All these things are things that I feel like if we have good leadership are things that we can address, and things that I'm very passionate about addressing. And aside from that, we've kind of touched on this, but I feel like like John, Councilmember Adams said, you know, the work's not going to go away. The state's going to continue to give us more work. And if we have the work, someone's going to have to do the work. And I think it's unethical to say, well, you can do the work, but we're not going to pay you for the work. And I'm not necessarily saying anyone's suggesting that, but I do think a lot of times that's how it shakes out. And to me, I like what we've talked about, that we need to be willing to invest in that in order to have what we're hoping for our residents.
Thank you, Councilmember Hunt. Anyone else?
No, and and the whole thing with what, I agree that, some of the high-level things would be overlooked, like the small area plans and those types of things would probably get overlooked. But the one thing you would get with a senior planner and a planner is you would definitely get more counter experience, more people attended to who are residents, and probably not so much the high-level stuff that you're talking about, the small area plans, is the CRAs, the community redevelopments, those probably wouldn't get done, but you would probably get the rezones, the plats, those things like that, and you would also get code enforcement done more effectively with the planner and senior planner. So yeah, there's arguments both ways. It's just a matter of where you want to save money. And right now, going through the budget process, we just don't have enough revenue for expenditures. And I'm just trying to find ways that we can somehow get our revenue closer to our expenditures. And this was one of those ways that it could happen, but still get the work done. Maybe not get all the gee whiz and the wish list things done, but we would still be able to get the work done. That's what I was looking at.
Well, Mike, and I totally appreciate your approach because you're awesome. We have so much respect for you. I will say that those gee whiz things that you've mentioned are all required by state code. We have to have these plans in place. We have to do this reporting. So we have to have someone that can do it. So anyway. Okay, would someone like to, are we ready to make a motion? Do you guys feel good about that? Okay, would someone like to make a motion, please?
I'll make a motion that we approve funding for the community development director position.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
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 Nay.
Okay, thank you. All right. Work item number 7A, discussion of placing a general obligation bond for fire station on the ballot. Ongoing discussion. Jason.
Only to say that we're on track to coming to the council on August 10th at the special meeting with a design and cost estimate. So.
Okay. All right, thanks. Any comments, council? Okay, trucking on. All right. Anyone have a council member report? Nope. Okay, I have one thing to say. I got a letter from a concerned citizen. It says, help, Heritage Park is being overrun with dogs. I've had 3 threatening incidents now with 3 different dogs, or with different dogs at Heritage Park. Dogs are there at all times of the day, not on leashes. Please put up signage around the park to indicate that dogs are not allowed off leash. So just making that statement, maybe we can look into that. Thank you, Cole.
Cole.
Okay.
Is that why you've been here this whole time?
Oh, yeah.
Been waiting for this.
Yeah, go ahead, Jackson. Councilmember Jackson. They mailed it to me, so I'm relaying the information. Okay. Oh, maybe Cole?
Okay, I just have one thing. I've heard a lot of feedback from the community, from neighbors about the fireworks show. So thank you, Cole. Thank you to the city. Fantastic new vendor, great fireworks. So.
Absolutely awesome. Okay, anyone else? Nope. Okay, Jason?
Mayor, just a couple things. A couple months ago, we extended our contract for 1 year with Robinson Waste with the intent that we were going to bid that out. We started putting together our bid documents, and then Robinson was acquired by Republic. So Republic's the second largest trash hauler in the country after Waste Management. And so we've really got 3, Republic, Waste Management, and ACE is still out there. They're kind of smaller, but what I'm getting at is Republic, Robinson approached us, their rep, and said, hey, look, we can extend you with a locked-in rate if you want to consider that. And so we said, okay, we looked at all the rates, and we are actually the lowest rate in Davis County right now. And so we think that might be worth looking at. So I asked them to put together a proposal, and a couple weeks we'll have that to just consider. And if they can lock that rate in, there will be some kind of like inflation escalator like all contracts have. But if it's a good deal, I figured let's look at it. So that's all.
Fantastic. Thank you for looking into that for us. We appreciate it.
You
And
bet.
that's
Oh,
great. Go
actually,
ahead.
one more couple of things. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, all residents are going to get a tax letter from the city. And it's just a 2-page letter that explains what this tax is, so they understand what it means. And they're aware of the, the Truth in Taxation hearing coming up on August 6th, so. And then,
They're
yeah.
getting one every day, Monday, Tuesday.
Sorry, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
It's like, that's a little overkill.
Good clarification. One letter. That's all.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we recess this meeting to go into a closed session.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Okay.